Hello, how are you today? I thought I would jump on and do this as the first of a few in a series on self-mastery, and in particular giving you toolbox talks. Now today while I'm doing this, we have a storm coming in, which is pretty cool. It wasn't predicted to be here for another few days yet, but yeah, we've been feeling it coming for a while. So I'll make this video short and very focused. And then as we unpack some of the others, I'm sure we'll have a little bit longer journey together. But I wanted to focus on self-mastery and in particular give you some tools for your toolbox, the practical side of things to help you with what is not very practical at all. Now, the way that I got into this side of things was to work on myself. There is a saying that a leopard can't change its spots. If your power animal happens to be a jaguar, you're going to have spots anyway, or a leopard, same thing. And that's not necessarily true. They can change throughout your life, and depending on the amount of work that you're willing to put in, then, happy days. You can change so much about yourself. However, it is something that requires, in my experience, daily practice, and that evolves over time as you change. So the first thing in my toolbox is a journal and a pen. So they say that the pen is mightier than the sword. I don't even know where that quote came from, and I'm sure that somebody will, especially my partner. He knows all that sort of stuff. So I just go and ask him, a little bit of a shortcutter if you like. Why research it when somebody else has that skill and that gift? But in saying that, I have found that to be quite true. So in terms of the pen, I choose to write with a fine tip pen. I love the results that I get from that, and I like a light pen to use. I also like a lead pencil, and I like it to be sharp. So there's a few tools already, okay, that would be in my toolbox that may not necessarily be in yours. That being a sharpener for one, a nice light pen that's a fine tip. I may also have a decorative pen. So on my desk at home, I have a quill pen that we got at the Louvre in Paris when we were there, and ink, Italian ink as well. So that sits there. Sometimes I will write with that, but that's written in a special book, and that sits on my desk. So I have a sharp pencil, I have my sharpener, and I have my pen, my fine tip pen. Now, some people like to write with a medium tip pen. This is entirely up to you. The thing that I want you to be aware of with this now, today, and every time that we do a toolbox talk on self-mastery or self, it is what feels good for you. So it's what is it that you actually like. And that you will start to see there's certain little things that I really like, and one of them is fine things. So I quite like small, intricate, fine things. Now, the thing that goes along with your pen is your journal. So when I first started to get into this side of things, I was heavily involved in the corporate world and had lots of meetings and lots of work. So I had a diary, and the diary was for work. I would write my to-do lists, avid to-do list writer, and one of those people that would write way too many things on the to-do list and they never get finished. So you have this perpetual task list. I'm sure some people will relate to that. And if you only wrote 2 or 3 things on your list, even though they might take you the whole day, you felt ripped off because you only did 2 or 3 things. So I had a diary which was full of that sort of stuff. It was full of phone numbers, dates, meetings, conversations, pieces of paper which resulted from conversations, references to files, tasks lists, passwords, all of that, you name it, that went into the diary. Now, separate to the diary was my journal, and is my journal. My journals vary in what they are, but again, I like particular things. So find yourself a book that you can begin your journey in. All you need to have is blank paper, okay, in the pages of a book. I find that a book is better than just loose leaves of paper, because they go everywhere. You want something where you can start to methodically write in it every day. If you can do that, if you can't manage that, then you just choose to write in it at least once a week. And the way that you write in your book is entirely up to you. I like to use both hands when I write. It depends how I feel as to which hand I prefer. But if you are predominantly one side, that's fine. Just start writing. The way that you write in a journal, again, is personal. It's entirely up to you. But what I have found to be quite useful is to have practical prompts. So prompts for me have evolved over the last 8 to 10 years, but they began just with a blank piece of paper in my book, and I would sit there and go, okay, what do I want to write about today? Now, if you're someone who's used Facebook, there used to be a caption there in the post section where you could put a post on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I wouldn't know if it's still there. But it was, what's on your mind today? I think something like that. It was, what are you thinking? What's on your mind today? And you would write in response to that. Now, most people probably didn't even notice that there was a prompt there for you to actually write a post, and that's okay. So I want you to treat your journal the same. Treat your journal as if it is your friend. It is your phone if you're someone who sends a lot of text messages. It's your social media platform if you're someone who just particularly rants or blurts stuff out on Facebook, or it's your counsellor if you like. However, to begin with, you may not necessarily get responses back. That can come along a bit later. So use your journal as a space to write into. You put your thoughts in there. You might reflect on your day. You may begin your day. I'm going to do a beginning day journal entry in a moment, because before I get onto my course, take note of little ideas that pop into your head, maybe messages that you might get as you're writing. The big thing with your journal as well, that's what I will say now, is it is best to release judgment. So as you are writing in your journal, as you're writing in your book, because these are your collection of books, think about a question, do a reflection. Maybe you just want to write how you feel today, or what dreams you had last night, or what you're going to make for dinner. Anything. Just start to write into your journal, and then release any judgment for anything that comes, and you keep writing in your journal until you're done. So if you sit down to write in your journal and you're done within 5 lines, fantastic. If you sit down to write in your journal and 5 hours later you're still writing, obviously there's some stuff that you needed to get out, and you feel safe enough to write them into that book rather than speak them to somebody else. Now, on that note, there are a lot of people that I work with in terms of mindset and their own advancement, and all of them are told, journal on that. And I'll get text messages and it'll be, not sure what to do with this. This is what's coming up. Are you getting that? Blah, 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 blah. My favorite response is, have you journaled on that? Or write it in your journal. Because often writing it down gets it out of your head onto a piece of paper, and you can come back and reflect on that later if you want to. If you weren't meant to carry that thought around with you all day to put it into action, then putting it into your journal allows for others to come through. So, welcome along to the Self-Mastery series, Toolbox Talks. That's your first tool in your toolbox, or multiple tools in your toolbox. A pen that you really love to write with, a book that you would like to write in, and a pencil if you're so inclined. If you love colours and all those sort of things, you can get yourself some texters or some colouring in pencils and things, and you can add to your journal. You can cut pictures out, you can do all of those sort of things, but just start with the basics. Have a fantastic day. Let me know how you go, and I'll be seeing you again soon for the second round of Self-Mastery Toolbox Talks. And I'll get off now before the lightning starts again. All right, have a fabulous day. See ya.